Hi everyone, good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's recall our yesterday session. So yesterday we discussed the VMware vSphere architecture high level overview. So I just make this as a completed, and we also discussed the SDDC overview. So do you remember what is SDDC?
Software defined data.
Yeah, very good. SDDC is nothing but a software data defined data center. It consists of mainly vSphere, virtual SAN, and NSX-T. These three are the main key components in SDDC. And we also discussed the complete our vCenter inventory object features and integrations. Okay, and a lab, we haven't created the lab yesterday for VM creation at vCenter level. Until now, we know how to create the virtual machine in workstation layer, and also we observed the how to create VM on a single ESX. Today's session, I will show you how to create the VM on a vCenter level. Okay, so today we are going to discuss the vCenter 7.0, and today we are in the session 3, and I'm going to cover the few vCenter inventory objects today. So today's agenda is vCenter server inventory objects. I just quickly open our inventory objects. Within the inventory objects, we'll cover the at least 4 objects today. Okay. And one of the vCenter server inventory object is uh, we should also learn before going to the inventory object, we should learn the importance of VAMI interface. So vCenter server management interface. In short form, we call it as VAMI. So we observe what is the use cases for VAMI, and we can organize an inventory of virtual objects, and we can discuss the data center, host and clusters, VMs and templates. And we'll also do some lab today, like virtual machine creation and adding the host to vCenter and also creating the cluster. Okay, these labs we can do today. So let's quickly start with the vCenter inventory objects. See, in our vCenter inventory objects, yesterday I given the quick overview for all the 60 objects. Okay, so let's start with the first one, VAMI interface. So VAMI is nothing but a vCenter server management interface. Mainly, VAMI is useful to configure the vCenter server once we deployed. Even during our vCenter installations on time, we observed it's a two-stage installation. Once the stage 1 is completed, to log in to do the stage 2 configuration setup, we need to log into the VAMI page only. VAMI page means we need to provide the vCenter server IP address or host name. Host name we can also call it as FQDN. FQDN means fully qualified domain name colon and port number 5480. And login procedure is you can just open any browser, go to the vCenter server management interface and type our vCenter host name or IP address, port number, and enter the login credential as root and password. The password is we set while deploying the vCenter server. The same password we can set while logging to the VAMI page. Okay, so within the VAMI page, we observe that there are multiple use cases in the VAMI page. Using VAMI interface, we can verify the vCenter server health status. Even if you want to restart or shut down our vCenter, we can restart from the VAMI page. And we can also export the support bundle. Support bundle means all the vCenter server system logs. We can also export using VAMI page. And we can monitor the CPU memory usage, and we can monitor CPU memory, disk, network, and database. All this information we can monitor from the VAMI page. And these options we discussed in our previous session. I just prepared the notes for our later reference purpose. So these are all the use cases. Quickly, I will show you. Log into our vCenter server, open a browser and type the vCenter server IP. vCenter IP is 192.168.10.79. Now I'm giving the port number 5480. So login credential for this VAMI page is root. So once we log in, the same points, whatever we have here, summary and reboot and shutdown in the right side, if you see the username root, just select the drop down menu, you can see the logout page. And also comes to the actions, you can see the additional options. We can reboot the vCenter server from here. We can shut down vCenter. We can also create a support bundle. If you want to see the support bundle, just click on support bundle. It will start generating the vCenter server support bundle. And also we have an option to switch the theme. If you want to change this page web page theme also, we can switch. And help information, it will shows our current vCenter server information. What is the build number for our vCenter server? This is the build number. So we can also see the build number from the home page summary tab also. And health status, overall health status is good. It consists of CPU, memory, database, storage and swap. All the status is good. And here swap is nothing but a virtual memory. And database, we know it's a Postgres database. And for every virtual machine, we have a virtual component, CPU, memory, and storage. And the vCenter server single sign-on is service is running, and the domain name we given during the installation, vSphere.local. Okay. And monitor also, we can verify the monitoring CPU, memory, disks we can monitor, and also network we can monitor, and database also we can monitor. These are all the points whatever we have in this VAMI page tab. All the information I updated here. Okay, what is the options we can perform using the VAMI? These are all the use cases to use the VAMI page to configure our vCenter server. Okay, even we can configure time zone, we can restart services, we can update the vCenter server latest patch, password reset, and the log files we can directly send it to syslog server. We can take the our vCenter server backup also. But backup, if you want to configure the backup on our vCenter server, go to the backup tab. See here they given before taking the backup, we need to set up one backup server in our environment. You can use send the backup of vCenter server using any of the protocol. You can send using FTP or SFTP. SFTP also we can send, and we can send HTTPS level, or you can send as FTP and NFS, SMB, HTTP. You can use any protocol to take the backup from this system and send to our remote backup server. So when we doing the backup lab, I will show you how to configure this one. Okay. So this is the VAMI use cases. Now we are going to discuss the how we can organize our vCenter inventory. So in our vCenter inventory, when we install fresh vCenter server, the first initial step is we have to create a data center. I just mentioned data centers. Either you can create one data center or you can create a multiple data center. It's subjected to be our requirements. Suppose our customers say we want to create a two data centers. One is for production data center, one is for a testing or QA data center. For production, one data center you can create, and test and development you can create a second data center. Okay, like that we can segregate our data centers. And folder also it's a logical container. You can create a folder on data center level, create folder on host level. You can also create folder on cluster level and also the VM level. This is just mainly for a segregation purpose. And once we create a data center, the recommendation is add the host to either a folder you can add, or you can add directly to data center. Usually the best practice is add the host to the data center server. Direct to data center, you can add the host. And once we add the host, not only single host, if we add a multiple ESXi host, it will allow you to create a cluster, and you can also start configuring the cluster. Okay, cluster means grouping of multiple hosts. And once the cluster is already reached our limit, during our cluster discussion time, we discussed the cluster, there is a some maximum. If you are using a ESXi vCenter server 7.0, it supports each cluster up to 64 hosts. If your vCenter is updated to 7.0 update 2, from update 1 onwards, VMware also increase the cluster host capacity to 94 hosts we can add. So when we 94 or 96, what is the number? Do you remember the number? How many hosts we can add to cluster? Just in case if you have a doubt, log into VMware configuration maximum. We can just quickly clarify how many hosts we can add to cluster. Is it 94 or 96?
96.
90?
96.
Okay, okay, good. Post maximum. Yeah, 96 is correct. Okay, and here they clearly mention that the new limit 96 host is applicable from 7.0 update 1 onwards. But if you are using a non vSAN clusters and also the version is 7.0 general availability version, for that one limit is only 64 host. So that is the reason the extending a cluster means suppose if you already reach your cluster limitation and our cluster reach the 96, and if you want to add some more hosts, the only thing is we need to create a new cluster. That is one scenario why we need to go for a second cluster. And another scenario is suppose within my site, let's say my site is in a Hyderabad location. Within my site, I want to prepare a two branches. Within the Hyderabad, there are a two branches. One branch is in a Banjara Hills and another branch is in a different location. For each branch, you want to segregate the cluster. Even the within a location, for different places also, you can segregate the clusters. So that is one method, one scenario. And another scenario is when you reach your limit also, you can go with a new cluster. Okay. And now we can discuss the what is the data center. So data center, usually this is the icon for the data center. So data center is nothing but a virtual data center is a container for all inventory objects required to complete a fully functional environment for operating virtual machines. Okay, we can create multiple data center to organize group of environment to meet different user needs. So again, it's a depends on our requirement only. Minimally, we should create one data center. It's compulsory for every vCenter. We need to create one data center. And again, multiple data center. It's subjected to be our organization groups. Suppose we have a multiple organization groups. You can create a multiple data centers. And each data center has its own hosts, virtual machines, templates, data stores, and networks. These all are common for every data center. And for example, we can create a data center for each organization unit in our enterprise. Each organizational unit means whatever branches we have. For example, well, let's say one of my organization is a multinational company. We have across the globe, we have 44 branches. So 44 branches means each branch we need a one data center. So the data center count will be 44 data center. Again, within our organization, one specific place, let's say India is the one of the a location within the India country also. If you have multiple branches, again you can divide your organization into multiple data centers. Okay, like that we can divide. And another method they are given is create some data centers for high performance environment and other data center for less demanding environment. Here the example is normally some companies instead of your location names also they will segregate in a different way. For example, my main data center is located in a Delhi. So for Delhi data center you can consider as a primary data center, and they will also configure a secondary data center, or we can say disaster recovery site or standby data center. That data center near to Delhi we can create in another data center in Mumbai. So Mumbai you can maintain a disaster recovery site. So when we have a disaster recovery site, normally it's like a less demanding environment. In case of any impact on our high performance environment like production site, we can recover our data from the disaster recovery site, or it's kind of vice versa. Sometimes some companies they maintain both data center, active data centers. So even in the active also you can maintain, or active passive also we can maintain. It's subjected to be customers actual necessary and requirements. Okay, so this is about the data center, how we can create. and ESXi host and clusters. Even the host and clusters in our vCenter server, when we are organizing our vCenter server, the first one is data center. Folder is like we can create anytime. When we create a data center, the immediate step is we need to add the host to data center. So that is the reason I'm trying to explain the host. Host means only one single host. Host is nothing but a ESXi host. And some may use the instead of ESXi node, they can also say node or server, anything same naming convention. Okay, anything we can use. A host is a server that uses virtualization software. That virtualization software is ESXi to run virtual machines. The ESXi software main purpose is only to create and run the multiple virtual machines. If we don't have this facility, we no need to use the ESXi, right? So this is a main key benefit of our ESXi virtualization software. And host provide the CPU and memory resources that virtual machines use. Even to create the virtual machines on our host level, whatever the resource on our single host, that same resources will be distributed to all the virtual machines. And cluster, if you see the right side icon, the cluster is nothing but a, whatever we have the host icon here, it's a grouping of multiple hosts. So cluster is nothing but a cluster is a group of hosts. When you add a host to cluster, the host resources become a part of the cluster's resource, and the cluster manages the resources of all the hosts within it. And the cluster enable high availability distributed resource scheduler solutions. So today's session, I will just show you how to create a cluster, and HADRS will discuss in the subsequent sessions, because HA will take 1 hour session, and DRS also same. So I will just show you create the cluster and add the host again. And another point is we'll also observe the virtual machines and templates. Virtual machines, we discussed already previously how to create the virtual machine. So can anyone tell me what is virtual machine? How we can define the virtual machine?
Software generated machine.
Yeah, good. So virtual machine is nothing but it is a software generated machine and looks like a physical machine. Okay. And now today we are also introducing the new word which is called template. So template, if you see in the right side diagram, there is a our vCenter server. Under the vCenter server, the name is SCA data center. We have a folder lab VMs and templates. You can see the direct template names. Template name is one template is for Photon for template, another one Windows 10 template. It's inside the template we have a virtual machine icon. This is the icon for the template. Template is nothing but a master image of virtual machine, or we can say it's a master copy of virtual machine. We use template to create and provision new virtual machines. A template typically include guest operating system, one or more applications, and a specific VM configuration. So purpose of virtual template is we can quickly deploy the multiple virtual machines. In other words, we can say fast provisioning, and it will reduce the deployment time of virtual machines. Suppose our requirement, customer requirement is 20 virtual machines. If I really want to create a 20 virtual machine, if you do not have a template feature, what we have to do, 20 times we need to create the VM, map the ISO, whatever the ISO you want. Let's say within the 20 virtual machine, 10 virtual machines are Windows, 10 virtual machines are Linux operating system. So that means we need to download two ISOs, one ISO from Microsoft site, one ISO from Red Hat site. Download the ISO files, upload to the vCenter server data store, and we can start creating the virtual machines one by one. Once VMs are created, mount the ISO and install. So if you start installing for one by one, usually it will take long time. If you plan to do install the guest operating system and do the VM configuration. VM configuration means it's like a network configuration and storage configuration. Network means which includes IP address. We need to assign the IP address, and also we need to create the disks and assign the disks sizes also. If the based on the customer requirement, we need to add additional disk and even in the guest OS level, expand our disk spaces. This all includes the VM configuration. And also there are some additional configuration steps in the real-time scenario. Additional steps involves customer may require a antivirus for all the production servers. So we have to install the antivirus for both Windows and Linux VMs. These are like a specific VM configuration. And application, suppose your company standard policies, every server must run with any of the Java updates or any of the your project related application we need to install. So we need to install the project related applications on all the virtual machines. Either it is Windows flavor or Linux flavor. So normally to install one virtual machine, roughly we are spending 30 minutes time. If you want to deploy a 20 virtual machine, around 10 hours we need to spend. Okay, so to reduce that deployment time, the another advanced feature in our vCenter server is template. So the template, how to create, how we can deploy multiple virtual machines, we can observe today. Okay, so let's back to our lab. So now I'm connecting to the vCenter server. So to connect vCenter server, just enter the HTTPS, our vCenter server IP address, enter. So launch our vSphere client HTML5 and enter the login credentials. So here we need to use the login credential is administrator@vsphere.local and password. So once login to the vCenter server, the initial step is data center creation. We already created previously data center and quickly show you how to create. Just right click and create a data center. Suppose select data center name, any name, for example, production data center. So I create a one data center name is production, or else some scenarios we may configure as a primary data center, primary DC. So it's a primary data center. And under primary data center, you can maintain the hosts and clusters and all. Suppose if I want to create one more data center also, just right click the vCenter name and choose data center. Let's say secondary data center you want to configure. So you can create a secondary DC. So like this, we can create multiple data centers based on our requirement. So testing purpose, I just shown you the two DCs. And also the data center, once we create the data center and under the data center, the recommend option is add a host. So we already have one vCenter server running on 71 host. I'm trying to add another host now. Just right click the DC, add host. So here I'm selecting our second host. It's a 192.168.10.72. Now click on next. So enter the login credentials for our ESX host. Click on next. So it is showing the host summary information. So host already running with 3 virtual machines. Click on next. And evaluation license. Okay. Next. Lockdown mode should be disabled. Next. And virtual machine location also same data center I'm going to create. Click on next and click on finish. So under this data center, if you select the recent task, you can refer that there is a virtual machine, sir. ESX host is going to add now. See, add standalone host, it's completed. So host is added. Currently host is in the maintenance mode. So either you can exit the maintenance mode, right click the host. How we can exit maintenance mode. So exit maintenance mode is completed. Once the maintenance mode exit from the maintenance mode, if you want to add this host to the cluster or data center, just drag and drop it here. So it will add the host directly to the cluster. Suppose when I add the host to the cluster, all the resources will be added under the cluster. The cluster creation also very simple. Just select the data center, right click, new cluster. These features and all we'll discuss. Just understand how to create a just normal empty cluster. Let's say I'm creating one cluster for production in short form prod, excuse me. So prod cluster is added. Similarly, if you want to create another cluster also, right click the cluster, right click the data center, sorry, and you can choose the name as, let's say I want to create for a test and dev. You can create the test and dev. Click on next and finish. So like this we can create. So now we understand how to create a data center, how we can add the host to the cluster and creation of cluster. So testing purpose I created again. So if even if you want to remove this data centers also, just right click and delete. And even primary data center, if you want to remove, right click and delete. And even these clusters also, if you want to remove from the vCenter, just right click and delete. And same way for other test cluster also, right click and remove. Okay, so from our next class onwards we'll start doing the practice on our this only this data center and cluster. If you want to keep this name, systematic name, I'm just keeping as a demo lab data center 1, and this cluster name, any name we can keep. If you want to rename, right click the cluster, let's say we'll make any one name. We'll, let's say vCenter. In short form we'll use as a VC lab cluster. So but normally in the real time we'll make as a systematic name, production test and all. For our just lab purpose I'm just keeping as a VC lab cluster. So if I select the top level hierarchy, we'll start discussing the each and every inventory. Yesterday we discussed about the home shortcuts, we discussed the all the inventory objects, and also we observed the remaining objects. So now we'll just go with the first two features today: inventory, host and clusters, and VMs and templates. If I select the host and clusters, see this host and clusters you'll find under the this tab. Okay, so start discussing one by one. Let's select the our vCenter server IP. This is the top hierarchy. Just right side, go to the summary tab. We can observe that same like VAMI page, we can see the summary information. In this summary information, we can see our what is our vCenter server current version, and it is also saying that there is a new updates are available. So updates also will install, and the build version it is showing, and when it was last updated, it is showing as February 5th. Okay, this month only. And the last file based backup not scheduled. Suppose if it is already taking the backup, you can find the schedule information here. And now in within the summary, you can also, it is also showing some additional information. How many clusters we have? Only one cluster we have, VC lab cluster. And the host, we have a 2 ESXi host, 71 and 72. And virtual machines, we have a 7 virtual machines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 VMs it is not showing. Maybe those 2 VMs are power off state, or it is in the unregistered state. Okay. And now with our same tab, let's try to observe the remaining options. We have a custom attributes. Currently there is no custom attributes. If we want to configure any custom attributes, we can configure here. This is also for a segregation purpose. Excuse me. And even the tags also, if you want to add any of the tags also, we can assign the tags also similar to like a depends on the location wise you can segregate, or even in the host level we can segregate, even in the VM level also we can segregate. So I will show you again in the later classes for the tags. And now in the right side, you can see the health status tab. Within the health status tab, you can see that overall health status is good. Again, to verify the health status in detail, it is also recommending to log into the appliance management. Appliance management means our VAMI interface page. Okay, so like this also we can open the VAMI page from vCenter level. And vCenter HA mode, currently it's not enable the vCenter HA. HA means high availability feature. And in the right side also you can see the current CPU usage for our vCenter, and memory usage and storage usage. Okay, we have enough free space. Normally in case of any alerts and errors, we can find a color will be changed. Yellow means warning and red color means error messages. Okay, So Skyline Health also one of the default VMware Health status. It is also detected some issues in the vSphere environment. It's fine because we are using a test environment. You may find some warnings. It's expected behavior. So I'm just resetting to green. But in the production, we should consider that as a issue. We need to work on that. So select vCenter, we'll observe the other tabs, monitor. So under the monitor, we can see the information for issues and alarms. If we have any issues, it will be found here. Currently, there is no issues. And triggered alarms, even there is no triggered alarms. And the tasks, it's the same like a task console. Here also we can see the task information. We can see the task information. And events, when we see the events, we can find the events details. In these two tabs we can also see it from, go to the shortcuts. Here also we have task console, event console. The same options are available from host and clusters tab. Go to the monitor, we can see here host and clusters tab means this is the one. Under host and cluster tab, select vCenter, right side go to monitor. You can see task and events. Tasks means whatever the task we perform, all information we can find. Just now we renamed and removed the cluster, all the task information. Events means events, normally it will shows information, errors and warnings. See there is some errors. Okay. And the sessions, it will show you how many vCenter server sessions are currently logged in. Even though if we log in previously, we haven't closed or anything, all the sessions it shows as a active sessions and ideal sessions. If you see today's date is February 8th. If you want to remove all the previous session details also, we can remove here. Just select the previous all the sessions and click on close. It will also clear the terminate the previous sessions. So this is, it will show so whatever the previously logged into vCenter, all the recent sessions you can find here. And the security information, under the security, it is currently showing our ESXi host details. Uh, there is no additional information here. And come to the other tab, vCenter server interoperability. This interoperability means VMware is giving a compatibility metrics in the vCenter level itself. Suppose in our previous versions, there is no interoperability option. In order to do your interoperability compatibility checks, we need to log into the VMware site to do. But here, if we have any VMware related additional products, all the products compatibility checks we can find from a this interoperability. Okay. And currently we are using within the vCenter, another product we are using is VMware vSphere hypervisor, and we are using two hypervisors. So that's why it is showing two, and current version 7.0.2, and compatible version it's until the update 3. And any release notes, currently there is no release notes available in this tab. And before upgrading, check the compatibility of third-party products that are registered with vCenter. So this is the recommendation they are giving from interoperability option. This interoperability option, we can also check from VMware website also. Just type VMware interoperability matrix. Just type this in Google, enter. You will find the first link, interoperability matrix. So when you click here, it will help you to compare which products are compatible with vCenter, which are not compatible. Those information will find from using this product interoperability matrix. For example, if I say want to check the compatibility for ESXi, let's say I'm just selecting VMware vSphere hypervisor ESXi, and I want to check the compatibility for vCenter product. Let's select vCenter. Our server name is vCenter server, and I haven't selected the any version. Now check the interoperability. So for these two versions, it will show you the compatibility information. If you see in this right side information, current latest version is 7.0 U3 within the vCenter server. Even in the ESXi also, what is the latest version means 7.0 update 3. If you see here, so these two versions are compatible. There is a green symbol. When you see the 7.0 U1, there is a one information. What the information? When you click on I icon, you can find the information. It says vCenter should be at minimum 7.0 update to use pass-through vGPU functionality. So they are giving you some condition. If you are using a update one, we need at least the minimum of 7.0 update to use these new features. Okay, so that means they're recommending to update 2. Like that, we can see the all the previous versions also. Currently in this screen, we are able to see until the 6 series only. It's not showing the old versions, but still some of the companies are using 6.7 series and also 7 series. Whatever we are learning, all are related to 7.0 concept, but all concepts applicable to our previous versions also. Okay, but interoperability with like this we can verify. Suppose if you want to verify with other compatibility version product, just in the below you can see add solution. You can click on add solution. You can add the whatever the solution you want to compare. Suppose I want to compare for NSX-T. So NSX-T means just look for the NSX-T data center. NSX-T previous product is NSX for vSphere. Now this year only they completely uh, this product is already end of support this year from January onwards. If you want to check the end of support information also, in VMware website only, there is a session for end of support. Just in the Google, you can type VMware EOL. EOL means end of license. Just type EOL, you will find the official lifecycle URL, or else you can find a PDF also. Suppose end of life PDF. Seems there is some PDFs. Oh, these are all the old PDFs. Okay, let's verify from the official site. So this official site, all the product information you will find. Whatever the VMware products we have, all the products, what is the GA means general availability, end of general support. These all information we can also export into Excel or PDF. Suppose I'm just exporting into PDF. Okay, it's already exported to PDF. So like this, we can export all information. Seems this information is only for first page. Let's select for all pages. Okay, 100 pages, one print. Suppose if you want to filter only the specific products, let me clear all and we can try to search for, let me try the Excel, how the Excel will save. Okay, I just save it into Excel file. Seems Excel file have all the information. How many products? See, VMware have 204 products, but within that products, we are learning the VMware vSphere. Let me save this as Excel. This is a CSV file actually. Let me save this to Excel workbook because Excel means it's easy to filter. This last column information, no need. We need only this information. So just select here. Let me highlight, increase the font. Okay. Suppose we want to check for a ESXi. In our filter, you can just type ESXi and click on OK. See, VMware currently providing the versions 6, 6.5, 6.7, and 7. If you see the 7th version, when is the general availability? See, the 7.0 released on 2020. Okay, 2020 they released, and the month is it's like a April 2nd they released. April 2nd, 2020 they released, and the end of general support, when this product end of support is until we have a support is until 2025. So we have enough time to this one. And the 6.7 it's going to expire this month October. Even 6.5 also going to expire by this month, sorry, this year October. And the 6.0 is already expired product. Okay, so similarly, suppose if I want to see from vCenter and ESX, uh, let me select ESXi again. I'm just highlighting these three, and also I'm just checking the vCenter. Even vCenter also you can see the General availability, when is the end of general support. And they also mention technical guidance. Technical guidance means even though your product is already expired, VMware still provide some technical articles to resolve the issues. Okay, but they will not release any new patches. That is only the difference. And the vCenter Server 6.0 also already end of support 2020 itself, but we have a technical guidance until this year March. Okay, so technical guidance means VMware provides some troubleshooting articles to resolve, but they won't release the latest patches once the specific product is end of general support. Now I'm just highlighting these three, 6.7 and all. Even the 7 we have until 225. Now we are going to verify the NSX-T. If I just search with NSX, there are multiple NSX advanced load balancer, defender and all. The main key products for NSX is this is one key product and another one latest is NSX-T. So I'm just highlighting this. We'll just compare all now. I'm just filter by color. Hmm. These are all the products we need to learn. See, ESX, we have 6 series. At least we are learning already 7.0. It's almost the same as 6.7. And even in the 7, we have some additional features. And interview scenarios, we should learn what is the difference between 6.7 and 7. Those points I will cover in the later classes. And even we should learn what is difference between vCenter 6.7 and 7. Most of the time, the differences we can see configuration maximums. In our previous edition of 6.7, there will be definitely cluster maximum hosts are only 64. When comes to the latest version 7.0, maximum host we can add 96 hosts. So this kind of configuration differences we can see, but concept wise almost all same. And when comes to the NSX for vSphere, this product, see, this year January it's already expired and technical guidance is available until 2023. Technical guidance means VMware will provide the troubleshooting steps. They won't release any latest patch. Okay, that is the difference. So that is the reason in our latest classes, if we when we start learning NSX-T, instead of learning NSX-V, we'll better learn the NSX-T. Okay, NSX-T is the latest product which was released in 2020 and version also latest version 3 series and end of support is until 2024. Okay, and technical guidance 2025. So similarly, if you want to see anything also, it's the same like this. Just log into the VMware product interoperability matrix or product lifecycle matrix, and you can see this information, or just export it to Excel sheet and you can filter and see the information. Okay, because in this tab, there is no search option to search. So best way is export it to CSV and you can filter out which product you want to verify. Normally we need to do this task in the when we are working for the some of the customers they may ask they may wanted to know when our products are going to expire. That time it's useful for you how we can verify. Just in the Google you can type VMware EOL end of license information, you will find this link. I will show again. Google, just type VMware EOL. EOL means end of license. It will directly first link is you will come to this link only, product lifecycle matrix. Okay, so now back to showing you the interoperability. Even the interoperability purpose is if you are in your environment, if you want to use the NSX compatibility also, that multiple products compatibility checks we can using interoperability. Earlier we have separate URL like this, even still we have. In our vCenter level, they already introducing a that feature interoperability. We can check from this tab also. Suppose from here we need to type the product name NSX vSphere, and if you want to add NSX-T also, you can add the solution NSX. I'm just choosing NSX-T data center. Now check interoperability. When we click on check interoperability, see you can see some products. See 6.4.5 version, it is not compatible to all 6 series because VMware itself they already end the support. So that's the reason it's not supported for 7 series. It's have a support until 6.7 only. Okay. Even there is a condition they given. They put the I means after upgrade of VCSA ESXi to 7. Plus, VMs on the host experience east-west and north-south connectivity issues. So this is the expected behavior. Even if we upgrade, there is a definitely there will be issues. So most of the time depends on the configuration compatibility matrix only. We should recommend to use multiple products in our environment. Even NSX-T, if you see the NSX-T, latest version is 3.2. This NSX-T is compatible with vSphere ESXi. And there is some information also. We'll just quickly read what is the information for latest version. It says tested VC 7.0.3c and replacement builds recall 7.03 GA. So there may be some latest build they recalled. So they released a new bundle. So they just put that information. The remaining all are below NSX-T below versions are not compatible with our latest version. Here iPhone means it's not compatible. Green color means it's compatible. Okay, so the same portal, whatever the information is showing, the similar information we can find from vCenter interoperability tab. Okay, so we are not yet started using other VMware products. That's why it is showing only ESX here. Now, another point, cloud native storage. Here, storage, whatever the container volumes we have, Kubernetes container volumes, all information we can see here, but currently there is no volumes yet. Okay, and Skyline Health, this is also, it will shows the health information, health, all our ESXi host health status information. Okay, now come to the configure tab. In our configure tab, we can see the vCenter server configuration details. Okay, and permissions, these and all we'll discuss again. Now today's session we observe the data center creation, cluster creation, adding the host. Now I'm going to create one virtual machine and we can install the guest operating system. So we're going to observe the VM creation on a vCenter level. It's almost similar like a single host and our workstation level. So right click the cluster, select new virtual machine. You can select the cluster, same option. Again, you can right click the data center also. There is an option for new virtual machine. Either way, we can choose. Even if you select the specific host also, you can choose. Okay, and one thing you can observe is when we select the host, we have how many CPUs here? 8 logical CPUs, and the second host also we have 8 logical CPUs. When we create a cluster, all these 8 plus 8, 16 CPUs will add under a cluster. So cluster will show total 16 processor. So cluster is nothing but a grouping of multiple hosts. Whatever resource on our physical host, all the resources will be combined as a group of resources under the cluster. Okay, so now while creation of VM, either you can select the host, right click, new VM creation here. Any way we can choose. Okay, so just right click here. I'm just selecting the data center and choose new virtual machine. When we select the new virtual machine, there is a multiple options. Create new virtual machine, deploy from template. Present we don't have templates here. We're going to create a template now. And another option, clone an existing virtual machine. Clone is nothing but a duplicate copy of virtual machine. If you want to prepare a duplicate copy, you can choose this option. And another one, clone virtual machine to template. That means our virtual machine still exists. It will create another copy. That copy will make it into a template. So this is the option like this. And another one, clone template to template. Suppose existing template, if you want to create a copy, you can use this option. And convert a template to virtual machine. There is already existing template. You want to make that as a again virtual machine, you can use this option. So all this option will observe one by one. So let's select the first option first, create virtual machine. When we select new create new virtual machine, click on next and you can enter the virtual machine name. Suppose I'm giving the virtual machine name as let's say test VM 001. Okay, this is the name I'm giving. And when you expand here, wherever you want, you can create, or else if you want to keep any one folder, you want to copy the VM under the folder also, you can create. Just or else you can leave it default option, click next. And it is asking to choose your compute source where this VM going to choose. You can choose a specific cluster. It is saying that selecting cluster is not a DRS mode. Please select a specific host within the cluster. So because we haven't enabled the DRS yet, that's why it is showing this compatibility warning. So that is the case, we can just select the host. So when we select the host, it says compatibility checks are succeeded. Now click on next. See, these options not available when we creating in a our single host level and workstation level. This is a some slightly new options. And here there is an option for VM storage policy. In our later classes, I will show you the storage policy. But understand that storage policy is mainly to segregate your environment data stores. Suppose I have a SAN storage, NAS storage, and local storage. I want to create VM on a SAN storage. When you select the storage policy, we need to choose the option as a SAN storage policy. That means that VM is going to create on a SAN storage. Suppose if you create a iSCSI SAN policy, that means VM, while creation of VM, it will go to create on a iSCSI data store. Similarly, you can create a policy for local data store. While creating the VM, you can choose the specific policy to store onto the specific data store location. Because here we have a one data store, no issues to choose. But some of the real environment, there are hundreds of data stores. If you have hundreds of data store, it's very challenging to segregate the data stores. During that time, this policy will be very helpful to group multiple data stores into a one folder. Okay, so that time I will show you the how we can segregate. So present we have only one local data store, and we have the free space 31 GB. So let's choose the default local data store. Compatibility checks are succeeded. Click on next and select compatibility. See, the compatibility is showing even this virtual machine is compatible until the ESX old versions 3.5 to until the latest version. So normally we'll choose a latest version. Click on next and the guest operating system, which OS you want to install. Same like our workstation and single host, there is a multiple flavors. When you select the Windows, again Windows, there is a multiple flavors. So now suppose I want to install a 2022. Before install, let me choose we have ISO or not. We have the Windows 19, 22, both ISOs available. Okay, so let's select it as a latest version. Now click on next and customize hardware. Here, when you want to customize the hardware, default option CPU, 2 CPU, and memory it is taking 4 GB. If you want to customize these options also, you can customize. And will you recommend to enable CPU hot plug or not? Normally in the real time scenario, we remember that we always enable. So enable the CPU hotted. And this reservation and all I will explain during the resource pool concept. Okay, so I'm just enabling the CPU hotted, and similarly memory also I'm just selecting the memory as a 2 GB memory because it's our test system only. And hard disk also I'm just selecting as a let's say 15 GB for hard disk. And hard disk also just expand, and even memory also expand. Choose the memory hot plug should be enabled. Okay, this is enabled memory hot plug. And hard disk 15 GB is selected and just expand. And remember to choose the disk type always here, thin disk provision. Normally disks provisioning is a three types: thin provision, thick provision, eager zeroed, thick provision, lazy zeroed. Here the difference is thin provision means, suppose if I'm creating the virtual disk as a 15 GB, within the 15 GB, let's say my operating system consume only 10 GB. 10 GB means in our data store level, it won't consume 15 GB at a time. It will grow based on our operating system usage. That is called thin provision. Thick provision means whatever the disk you assign 15 GB, entire 15 GB will be occupied from the data store. That is called thick. But within the thick also, lazy zeroed means it will fill slowly. Eager zeroed means it immediately occupied. I will provide the notes for thick and thin disk provision in the next session. So now I selected as a thin provision. Okay, the remaining devices, let's keep it default devices. One network card, CD, DVD, USB, video card, all are the virtual devices. Okay, so now click on next. So before ready to complete, just review what is our configuration details. We given the virtual machine name. It is creating under a lab data center, and this is our ESXi host. We are creating on a local data store. We haven't created on a FCSAN, iSCSI and NAS in our lab. So that will also will cover in the next classes. And the guest OS name we selected as 2022, and this security option is disabled state, and we assigned 2 CPU, 2 GB memory, 1 NIC card and production, and the NIC type is E1000E. Suppose if you want to change the NIC type to latest model, Just select as network card, new network. Here you can, before selection itself, you can choose to latest VMX Net 3. Now click on next and see. See, now the network is changed, and SCSI controller default LSA logic, and hard disk, one hard disk, capacity 15 GB, data store okay. SCSI, and the mode is dependent. Dependent is nothing but it's kind of permanent storage. Okay. So now all the settings are fine. Click on finish. And also remember one important point: every virtual machine have a virtual machine version that within the 7.0 virtual machine version is 19. This is important point. Virtual machine hardware version is 19. Click on finish. If you go to the recent task, you can see the recent task virtual machine creation in progress. See, create virtual machine completed. You can see the date and time also. Start time when we started and when we completed. See, VM creation very simple. Within the seconds we created, but we need to, it may take some time to install the guest operating system. Our virtual machine name we created as a test VM 001. If you want to install the guest operating system, just right click the VM, go to the edit settings. We need to mount the CD or DVD. Here, if you see the options here, we have a multiple options to mount the ISO file. First option, client device. Client device means we need to connect any of the disk ISO file or anything. You can use the client device, or our client device connected with a external CD player, and that CD DVD player have a one CD drive or a DVD drive. Using that CD disk or a DVD drive disk also you can do. That is called a client device. Host device means it's on the ESXi level. ESXi, our ESX server have a CD DVD drive. You can keep the CD on a ESX box physical CD DVD drive. You can start the installation. But most of the time nowadays no server or laptop not coming with a CD DVD players. So these two options we can ignore, and always recommend options are these two. You can upload the ISO to data store, use that ISO to install, and another option you can maintain a content library. This library also it maintain all our centralized ISO files. Any option we can use. Okay. And another method is just let me click cancel here. And suppose if I launch the remote console for the virtual machine, when I launch the remote console to virtual machine, connect anyway. Oh, it's connected to vCenter here. Sorry. Let me disconnect here. When I launch the remote console, oh, it's coming here. Let me power on the VM and try. I just power on the VM. Virtual machine. Oh, okay. In order to use the remote console, it is asking us to download this tool, because why I'm showing this option is there is another method also. We can direct, instead of uploading the ISOs to data store ISO and content library ISO, we can also use our local system ISO also we can mount on a VM level. So for that, it is asking to download the VMware remote console software. So just download. So it is for Windows. So you can choose the first one. It's prompting to enter the credentials. Let me enter my personal credentials. Okay, now let's download. So download is in progress. Okay, so it's downloaded. We'll try to install this. So it's just a normal installation procedure. Next, and install. Okay, now it's finished. We'll try to open the remote console now. Open our browser. Just refresh the screen. Okay, see now VM is in power on state. We'll try to launch the remote console. See, like this we can launch. We downloaded this tool from a VMware website only. Here we can see virtual machine BIOS screen. If you want to mount our local ISO file, just select here. Here also we can mount the ISO file. See here when I select the removable device, you can find the CD DVD connect to disk image file. When you choose this option, it will mount your local system ISO files. This is also another method. Okay, but only thing is we have to download VMware Remote Console to install that to mount these local system ISO files. So for local system, I'm just selecting Windows 2022 and here just press enter setup. It will start booting from ISO file. See, press any key to start the installation. See, it's already starting. Enter. Okay. So hope you got the idea how to mount the local ISO. I'm just showing you again. VMRC, VMware Remote Console. Go here, removable devices and choose the network. Currently it's already mounted. Okay. Here the option to connect to your local system ISO files. But this option not showing in a virtual machine edit settings. When I go edit settings, select CD DVD, it is showing only the client device, host device. Host device means we really have a physical CD DVD drive in our system. Then only we can use this option. And also we need a CD or DVD drive to insert the in the drive and start the installation. But nowadays no one is using CD and DVDs. Everyone prefer to use ISO file. That ISO file either you can upload it to data store ISO or you can upload it to the content library. Another way is you can copy to your local one centralized system. From the system also you can local system onwards, local system you can try to mount using VMRC remote console method. Okay, so now let's try to open the console again. Yeah, it's loading. So in the meantime, it's loading. It may take a while to install the installation. Okay, it started booting up. Okay, so now language and all default, you can just click on next, install now. Okay, and here the version we need to choose the always graphical mode, desktop experience, either standard or data center you can choose. I just selected standard evaluation and accept the license agreement, click on next. Now upgrade is only during upgrade scenario. So for fresh installation, choose custom install. And we given the disk size is 15. So choose the same disk, click on next. So it may take 5 to 10 minutes to finish. So in the meantime, we are going to observe the virtual machine files. Okay. So let me minimize this console. So select our test VM001. Go to the summary tab. You can see where this virtual machine is stored. Select the VM. This is a summary tab, monitor, configure, permissions tab, data store tab. Suppose if I go to the data store tab, you can see local data store. Data store, this is the icon. So within our local data store, just click on local data store. See it redirected to data store tab. Go to the files. Under the files, you can see multiple VM folders, but our VM folder name is test VM01. Select our VM folder. You can see the multiple files. Let minimize the recent task. Okay, yeah. You can see the files. Suppose if you want to see the file type, you can see the file type. There is a files name called multiple files. Can you tell me what is a virtual machine configuration file extension?
dot VMX.
Virtual machine name dot vmx. This is the virtual machine configuration file. Good. And for the virtual machine disk file is .vmdk, vmname .vmdk. And nvram is the BIOS file. We can also call it as non-volatile memory file. NV means non-volatile. And we also have a swap. Normally the swap file is equivalent to the virtual machine memory or double of the our virtual machine memory. So currently it is showing us equivalent to the virtual machine memory. It is showing the size as a KB. We given the virtual machine memory 2 GB, equivalent 2 GB is consuming. And there is no snapshot database file .vmst. See the size is 0 KB only. Okay. And the virtual machine log file, you can see vmware.log. And when the VM is power on, there will be some VMX log file also will create. This size also 0 KB. Okay, this is a VMX file, temporary file. There is a delta symbol. Okay, so we already aware of virtual machine file extensions. When we create a snapshot, this file will start increasing. So I will show you during the snapshot session. Okay, but for template, virtual machine template extension is it's a .vmtx virtual machine. If we create the VM, make the VM as a template means instead of VMX file, it will create as a .vmtx. That file will observe today. Once the installation is completed, we'll do it as a template. Let me open. See the installation still going on. In the meantime, we'll test on another VM. Suppose we have a VM01. This VM01 is on 22. It's in the power off state. If I want to make this virtual machine to template, right click the virtual machine, and here we have a option for template. Okay, the above options are like under the actions you can see power on, power off all options, and guest OS. If you want to see, there is some guest OS. Even install VMware tools also we can get it. Now for template option, just go to the template. You can see the option convert to template. So just select convert to template. This VM will make it as a template. But before converting, we're going to verify the what is the files available for this VM. Select the VM01 and go to the data store, click on local data store, choose the VM01 folder and verify the files. Same like our VM001, there is NVRAM file, VMDK file, VMSD file, VMX configuration file and VMware.log file. Normally all the latest log files you will find VMware.log. Old logs it will add with your numbers VMware-1 log, VMware-2.log. This is the old logs.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is no template VM file. Okay, so to find the template VM file, let's convert this virtual machine to template. So if you want to convert this virtual machine to template, right click the VM, select the template and convert to template. When I click on convert to template, just select yes. See, in this icon here, you're not seeing the VM01 here. Reason is we are under the host and clusters tab. If you want to see the templates, we need to go to the tab name called VMs and templates. Select this VMs and templates tab. Here only you can see the template. See, if you see here, virtual machine means this is the icon. If you have a folder symbol on top of the VM, that is called template icon. Just select this VM. You can see in the summary tab, this is the template already image. That is the reason it is not showing as a VM. Okay, this template, if you want to see this template VM files, again select the VM, go to the data store. Under data store, select the VM01, and you can see the file name. What is the file name extension it is showing? .vm tx. So tx is nothing but it's a template VM file. Okay. So the purpose of template is, if I want to deploy the virtual machines, just now we are created one virtual machine, we are trying to install the guest operating system. So that means we need to spend 10 to 20 minutes time to install the guest operating system. Once I make this virtual machine as a template, the benefit of template is we can deploy the multiple VMs using template. So just select the template VM, right click, and there is an option to deploy virtual machine. So if you right click here, there is an option new virtual machine from this template. So select this option and enter the test one. Let's say put the name as a test one and click on next. Select the specific host. Any host you can choose, click on next and choose the data store. Click on next. It is showing as insufficient data store space. Okay, go back and choose the another data store. Click on next, choose the data store. We have enough space. Click on next. And this is the customization option. I will explain this one and click on next and click on finish. So if you go to the recent task using that template, we are just creating a virtual machine. Not only limited to one VM, again right click here, you can deploy one more VM also. Like that you can deploy multiple VMs parallelly using the template. Suppose I'm creating another VM, test01, test02. Next, select our vCenter specific host. Next, select the data store. Next, next, finish. See, there are two VMs are able to deploy using the our template. It is showing could not complete. The reason is maybe we are running with a less space. So maybe I will increase the space in our next session. Almost the space is going to full. But the condition to deploy multiple VM, we must and should have enough free space. So one VM is currently in progress, but the template benefit is we can deploy the VMs, multiple VMs. See, this option is highlighted, new VM from this template. N number of VMs we can deploy parallelly. Even if you require 50 VMs also, we can deploy, but only condition is in our data store, we must and should have enough free space to deploy multiple virtual machines. The same point I mentioned here. So template means a template is a master copy of virtual machine. So this is the master copy. We use template to create and provision new virtual machines. Typically template includes guest operating system, one or more applications and a specific VM configuration. One or more application means every company have a normally antivirus software and some vulnerability scanning software. These softwares are minimally every company production VMs will running with this antivirus software. That is also considered as a application. So that antivirus client application we need to install once we complete the guest operating system installation. And a specific VM configuration. Specific VM configuration means every virtual machine there is some settings need to be configured, like enable the remote desktop connection and disable the firewall settings. These and all considered as a specific VM configuration. This specific VM configuration we discussed during the virtual machine build procedure session. The same steps will configure on a one VM. That one VM we consider as a master VM. We can convert that VM into a template. Suppose usually most of the companies they may use 3 or 4 flavors of operating systems. Like they will use Windows flavor VMs, they will use the Linux flavor VMs, Solaris flavor, and any of the other third-party flavors. Within these 4 flavors, max we can create 4 templates. Or suppose we are in our environment, I am using a Windows 2019 as well as Windows 2022. That means within the Windows you maintain 2 templates. Same way for Linux also, one old version template, one latest version template, and similarly Solaris. Like that, every infrastructure have minimally 5 to 10 templates we have to create based on our customer requirement. Using these 5 to 10 templates, whenever there is any requirement to create multiple virtual machine, we no need to deploy again manually. Using the template, you can provision the multiple virtual machines. Okay, so the purpose of using the template is we can quickly deploy the multiple virtual machine. That in other words, we can call it as fast to provisioning, and it will reduce the deployment time of virtual machines. So this is about the template. And again, let's connect to our session remote system. See here, if you see here, our clone to template VM is completed. See, using our VM01, we deployed the test1 VM we deployed. And let's observe the another VM also. See, this is still loading because we given a less memory, less CPU. So that's why it's still taking some time. Okay, so any questions on today's topics? Today we discuss the VMs templates, and we discussed the ESXi host and what is cluster, and we discussed about the data center and how we can organize the vCenter inventory virtual objects. So this is a way we can object, and folder also, it's a kind of very simple. Excuse me. Just log into data center, either VMs and templates, or normally most of the time we'll create a folders here. Suppose right click here, create new folder. You can create on a host and cluster level, network level, storage level, and VMs and template folder level. Suppose I want to create on a VMs and template level. Just select here, and you can keep the name as production VM. Let's say in short form, we call it as a prod. So prod means production. So I created one folder for production. Similarly, you can create another folder for test and development. Development. So I created a two folder. If you see our naming convention for virtual machine, we created few names as a test1, test1, test VM. If you want to move this VM, just select that VM, drag and drop it here. It goes under a this folder. So that means it's like a very organized way we are segregating our infrastructure VMs. This is also test VM. Drag and drop it here. And suppose VC is a production VM. Select our VC VM and just drop it under prod folder. Drag and drop here. Okay, and this VM name we haven't set any name. You can just segregate as a either test VM or production VM, but in the real-time scenario, exactly we need to map if it is a test VM, move it to test folder. Even either drag and drop, or you can also right click. There is an option to move to folder. When you click move to, you can see the specific folders. Suppose I want to move the VM2 to the production. Select, click on OK. That is a way also we can move. Okay, it is showing the warning our data store is almost full. That's why it is taking longer time. By next session I will increase the space, so it won't impact, it won't take this much time, it will deploy very fast. So let's back to the slide. So we discussed the data center creation, folder creation, how we can add the host to the data center, and we can create a empty cluster. We haven't configured the HADRS yet. Okay, and extending cluster is nothing but creating a multiple clusters. We observed how to create multiple clusters from host and clusters tab. Okay, and in this session we observed the virtual machine, how to create the VM on a vCenter level, and virtual machine files we observed, and the template VM file also. Template VM file same like virtual machine, only one additional file name is it's a .vmtx. That is only the additional file. If we go to the data store files, select our template name. What is our template name? It's a VM01. You can see the template VM name file is .vmtx. It's a template VM. The remaining file same like virtual machine. Okay.
In test VM001, we have observed that .vmx and .lck file, where here it is not present. Why is
Yeah.
it not?
A reason is this template is like a master image of VM. It's not in the power on state. If it is power on only, it will be locked on the specific host.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
If you see here, even in the host and cluster, we haven't see the template icon. Just go to the VMs and templates. We can see template icon here. Go to the summary tab. We can see that it is in the power off state. It's not on the power on state. It's just image only. So images will not be a, like a power on. So that is the reason there is no .lck log file.
Okay, it created only when VM is power on.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? So you can also start exploring the all these options in your home lab. Okay. If no questions, we can end the session. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Keep
Thank you.
practicing. Okay. Bye for now.
Thank you.